We on? Yo, Scruss it. You already know what it is. StressLyfe, a.k.a. Rise Up Ray. Got my boy.
Cliqu'd the Barber 912. What's happening, everybody?
You feel me? You know we still teamed up with Cliqu'd. Shout out to my boy Jive. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today, we got a surprise guest. She been, quite some time when we be doing the show. She always making sure that she been putting her input in it. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely, we all appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? It lets me know that you enjoy it and you watch it and you feel like you have to put your opinion to it, and I love it. And she an artist, y'all. Shout out to my girl Shadira. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm pretty all right. Pretty good. Pretty fine.
For sure. Y'all need to check out her music video. To what was the name of the song?
Needle in My Back. I had to remember that myself.
Yeah. Needle in My Back.
The interlude. There we go.
For sure. Cool. I need to check it out, man.
Right.
It's pretty dope, man. Shout out, like I said, shout out to Eddie Cypher. He played a part in that video.
Definitely shout out to him.
Yeah, he did his thing. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Hope the kids in the room. Hope the dog outside. Get your blunts. You know what I'm saying? Get your cigarettes, your blacks, whatever you like to smoke on. Get your drink, and let's get into some hot, touchy topics. So the name of the topic today is abuse. And when it comes down to abuse, just every different level. Any different level of abuse. You know what I'm saying? Anything. You know what I'm saying? Financial, verbal, physical, sexual, just anything. You know what I'm saying? So with this topic, Shadira, knowing that this is your first time being on our show as a guest, this is what we like to do. You know, I'm pretty sure. You know what I'm saying? We come up with dope topics, and we want the artist to, put his or her thoughts on it, just to show another side of the artist, rather, from the music. So the reason why I want to bring this topic up is because it was a YouTuber. It came out, it showed a video of him beating on his girlfriend. Very bad. Definitely felt bad for her. I ended up doing some researching on the top of that situation, and basically he was undercover, and she found out by going through his phone without his acknowledgement, and he beat her for that. I don't know who was recording it, but he beat her very bad. So, and I was reading through the comments, and I noticed everybody was just, felt so bad for her. And they was talking about the age difference. They was saying that she was like 19, and he's like 28, I believe. So there's a big gap. And they felt like, due to the fact that she's young, is the reason why she's still dealing with him. And they felt sorry for her because of that, because they felt like he took advantage of her due to the fact that she's young. Me, on the other hand, you know what I'm saying? I'm extremely biased about that. So this is my situation about it that I want to ask you. I want to show opinion, and then we're going to go down, you feel me, line. So first, have you ever dealt with abuse, or like any kind of abuse, or have you ever experienced, like, have you ever witnessed someone going through that, like a friend or a family, anything of that nature?
I've heard people bring up conversations.
Okay.
I personally, the closest I've ever gotten to abuse, as far as relationship-wise, probably manipulation. But outside of that, somebody like really talking crazy to me, somebody really putting their hands on me. I grew up watching What's Love Got to Do With It. That was my all-time favorite movie.
Okay.
I've only had a boy like hit me once, and I was a child. And after that, that was like...
Never happened.
I was watching What's Love Got to Do With It repeatedly.
Yeah.
I said, he don't like me, y'all. He don't like me.
Okay.
I've heard stories of people, and then I started feeling like, well, why you keep putting up with that? Why you keep dealing with that?
And see, that was about to be my question, because I've noticed how when a man go through abuse from women, and sometimes, the background explains a lot to why a man will stay for whatever reasons, even though I still don't condone it. But he'll stay through that situation, and when he stay, he don't retaliate. He just go through it. And if it goes out at social media or out to the community, people tend to attack the man or make fun of him, like, oh, man up, or put her in her, basically check her. You know what I'm saying? Why you crying to us about it? You know what I'm saying? Leave her or whatever. But when a woman going through the exact same shit that he's going through, it's like everybody feels so sympathetic for that person. And I'm not saying not to feel sympathetic, but why is it they don't get the same treatment?
In my eyes, as far as like why they don't get the same treatment, it's really because you don't expect a man to go through situations, while you expect a woman more of a submissive role to like have to go through situations like that. So if you're in more of a submissive role, of course you're going to want to like, they're going to treat you like the victim because you don't have the main like power of the relationship. So when you see a dude going through it, most of the time when they be like, get your life together, oh, man up, it's normally because the man is not showing his own self-respect. Because if you really got your own self-respect and I don't want you putting your hands on me, I don't want you talking to me crazy, you going to put that in place. You going to check her. I'm not saying you got to be all nasty with her or nothing like that, but you're going to have that sense of like self-respect to where I could have sworn that's something young boys are supposed to learn from a young age, to where you learn to stand up for yourself. Learn to like stand on your 2 feet, because how you going to lead somebody else if you can't stand up on your own 2 feet? So it's like they have less sympathy for a guy because it's like it should be, I'm not going to say it should be easier for you, but it's naturally within you, just dormant, waiting on you to actually cultivate that and actually bring that out of you. So it's like, why are you allowing this woman to treat you this way? Why are you allowing this woman to talk to you this way? Why are you allowing this woman to put her hands on you when all you got to do is stand up? All you got to do is say like, nah, I'm good, regardless of what the situation is, as far as people being like, oh, no, your house, your rules. If she don't like it, tell her get the stepping. If she don't want to get the stepping and think if she want to stay, tell her it's certain boundaries. You're not going to put your hands on me. You're not going to talk to me crazy. Because at the end of the day, respect is respect. Like, a relationship needs more than just, oh, I love you, I want to be around you. Like, nah, you got to respect somebody.
Right.
You got to, I can't, I'm a firm believer, and if you a dude, you get mollywopped by a female, please leave her. I ain't going to tell you put your hands on her. Yeah. I might not be right when I say this, but like it's 2 things where I feel like if a dude do snap, I'm not going to feel too bad for the female he's snapping on. Mm-hmm. You spit on him, or you just all out sock him in his nose and cause him to bleed or something like that.
What you going
I'm sorry. At that point, your name is Dave. You gonna behave. Like, I ain't gonna say knock her out, but if you open palm her, like, I'm not gonna feel bad for sure. Right. Like, you spitting on people and you punching somebody in the face. Like, how much more do you expect from somebody? Because if it was a man he was going against, he spit in his face. I mean, if this guy is a dude to stand up for himself, he's going to handle him like that. And don't take advantage of it because you're a woman. Like, and that's the problem. A lot of women.
And so the thing is, you brought out a lot of good points, and I want to discuss them, right? So now, the guys, oh, my apology. Shout out to my boy TPS Kales. 100 block, you know what I'm saying? 100 feet, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He had to get the money, y'all, you know what I'm saying? So due to that circumstances, he couldn't make it. Shout out to my boy. But Malik and Jive, right? So this is my thing, right? One of the things that she caught my attention with what you was telling me was about self-respect. A man should have self-respect to where a woman, you just don't allow a woman to do that, you know what I'm saying, due to that self-respect, right? So for the men, I want to ask this, and I'm going to start with Malik, and then it goes to you, Jive. Do you feel like when a man go through that, right, and she said about the self-respect, which I agree, but why is it when it comes down to a woman, she needs self-respect for herself too? And even though I don't agree for a woman to go toe-to-toe on a physical standpoint with a man, there's other ways to end that chapter with that individual. So what would be your key points to that?
That's kind of hard for me to say, right? Because I've never been in a situation where I actually had to get physical with a female. I had a situation where I had a female that was trying to get physical with me. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to put my hands on a female to hurt her. You know what I mean? So when we went through that situation, I actually held her down. You know what I mean? And I'm a man. I'm a man. You know what I mean? You're not going to hit me. You're not going to do all this craziness. We're not going to go through all these different situations back and forth. I'll leave first.
Yeah.
You ain't got to leave. I'll leave.
Yeah.
I know how to start over. I know how to rebuild. I know how to regain everything I had with you. You know what I mean? And I go move on to someone else that can appreciate me without having to get physical. We don't need to be physical with each other. If I got to beat you to lay down next to you, what kind of foolishness is that?
Facts.
I got to look at you with a black eye in the morning.
Come on, man. Right.
And I did it.
Yeah.
No. How can I tell you I love you and I'm looking at this black eye that I got to put a steak on in the morning?
That you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not love.
Yeah.
All we have is sexual and a whole lot of fighting. Because it's only two things that's physical in a relationship. Fucking or fighting. I don't do fighting with my female.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, nah, they ain't going to be in my life.
For sure.
I'm going to pass you by.
For sure. What you think, Joff?
First of all, thank you for having me. No, first of all, I just want to say, dope conversation is real deep. I dig. I get it. Because I think what you're originally trying to say is, why is there a double standard when it comes to that?
Yeah.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Why am I supposed to just, like what she said, just naturally stand up for myself and then just make this barrier when I may need the insulation of my community too?
Yeah.
I may need somebody to say, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you safe? You can come here. I might need that because socially and legally in a lot of states and places, I don't have the wherewithal to defend myself.
Right.
If you're brought up to believe no matter what happens to you physically, no matter what happens to you financially, no matter what happens to you, she's to feel no discomfort, no displeasure, no pain, no fear, no nothing. It puts you in a tight box.
You do.
To the point where even just the show of anger can be construed as violence, abuse. He never hit me, but he slammed doors. In some states, that's legally considered abuse.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So when so much of your behavior, this is why I say the black man in particular is one of the most political figures on the planet, because all of our behaviors have a law behind it. So when you are boxed into that corner, to go back to your point, it's not necessarily just stand up for yourself or just do these things. There's consequences to every step I take. And whether or not I know how to articulate what's happening to me, I know the feeling. I know that, she could stand in front of the door. And if I try to get her out of the way so I can leave, they're not going to say I'm, getting away from my captor. You know what I'm saying? The minute I put my hands on her, it's abuse. It's whatever. But if I do the same thing, then it's it's attempted kidnapping if you stand in front of the door.
Yeah.
So we understand the nuances that go on. So is there a double standard? Of course. And I think it would be foolish. It's a foolish errand to say that there isn't. The reason why it's in place is because there is a group of people who benefit from that double standard and want it to stay in place. There are a group of people who don't want to be, in this conversation we're talking about, women who don't want to be held accountable to you the way they want you held accountable to them. That's why that stays in place. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's
That's real shit. Real shit. I've experienced twice, and I don't agree to how I handled it. It wasn't nothing like I grab your face and just punch the shit out you or nothing like that. But it was kind of like in the sense of don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? And so I could put myself out there. There was a time where I have this thing. Everybody know me. They say I got a Napoleon complex because I'm short, right? So, you know what I'm saying? My temper a little up there, you know what I'm saying? And see, when I was younger, my temper was much worse than what it is now. But while I was figuring myself out and learning myself, one of the biggest things that I felt like was like a red color to a bull. I didn't like people putting their finger in my face when they express how they feel. You could tell me how you feel, but don't put your finger in my face. Don't hit me, and don't call me out my name. I feel like if I know you and we discussing about a particular situation, I'm not saying it's a sin to be mad. You could be mad and express, but while you mad, while you upset with me and you expressing how you feel, do it respectfully, because I'm gonna be respectful about how I feel about the situation. And she couldn't understand that. She knew that I didn't like shit like that, and she put her finger in my face. I told her several times, please keep your finger out my face. Like, I don't like it. If I told you I don't like it, why is you feel me, provoking me? And by the fourth time, it just sparked it to a point where, I grabbed her, got her against the wall, and my voice got loud. And I told you to keep your hand, you know what I'm saying? And then when I did that, she never, tried me like that again. And so I say that to say this. I feel like one of the things that you said, Jive, about women, from a women's standpoint, they like, not all, but certain, you have those certain ones who like to provoke. You know what I'm saying, man? Because they know that it's only so much that you could go or that you could do to whatever I'm doing to piss you off. Because if you say this or do this, I could take it to the next level where you could hurt yourself. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's being locked up or getting, beat up or whatever. Right. And it's crazy to me. I want to dig deeper to this. When I was a security guard, one of the spots that I remember being a security guard for was Carrie Hayes. I was on Skidaway. And there was a situation where there was a white couple, and, they was arguing. So I see them, I'm like, okay. And before I know it, I ain't never saw no female ever get hit that hard in person. Like, he really hit her several times. So when I saw that from a distance, me being me, dang, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So even though I don't know about the situation or whatever, what made him want to do that, I immediately ran over there for her rescue. I'm a security guard. It's on my base to what I'm protecting. You feel me? Yeah. And I goes out there to protect her, and she immediately stopped me and said, "No, don't touch him. Leave him alone. It's okay. We just had a simple." Why she's telling me that she's leaking from her mouth, by the way. No. And he looking at me like, yeah, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So when I saw that, I said, cool, baby, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? And she got in the car, and he hit her some more, and they drove off. Now, I don't know what happened to her. Hopefully, she's still here. But it's situations like that, you know what I'm saying, that I see where you have an outsider that want to protect the victim, whether it's a female or male. You have the ones who do want to protect them, but they so messed up in the head, they think this abuse is normal. You about to say something?
I could, yeah. I mean, there's a problem with that, and is that because of our relationship with the law, there's a fear that while this situation is terrible, especially if not just the law, but black finances. When we get past all the stuff that people say on the internet, we're the poorest sector of society. So if you go to jail, our very fragile way of life is cooked. You know what I'm saying? So now in all of this stuff, it's like, if he goes to jail, what happens to me and these kids? Mm-hmm. If she goes to jail, what happens to, we know there's a lot of situations where a lot of things be in your old lady's name. Mm-hmm. So what happens? She go to jail for this, I go to jail for this. What do you do? So we have a really informal way of trying to deal with each other.
So how do you tell the victim of the situation that's in the situation, how do you tell them to handle it? Like, because your self-worth is everything. So you can't protect. You can't. You know what I'm saying? Live in that house or still keep that car if you somewhere in the box dead because you protecting that individual.
Ultimately, and then I just want to see what she has to say.
Yeah.
You can't be quiet now. You be in the chat going up. And
Right.
Sudden,
That's why I got you on the show, girl.
yeah, then she like just looking around like, no, you be up in the chat.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna say this really quickly, and I want to give it to her. Ultimately, you just in our culture is so divided. Because partly we wanted it like this. We wanted nobody in our business. We wanted, me to be able to, in order for the society, the way things work now with the side piece this and there's no cohesive society that has this out loud like this. We had to want it like this in order for all these other things, the single parents and the messed up communities, our responsibility to how it got here has to be acknowledged as, some of this is our fault.
True.
So why are women feel they're in this position? Why are men feel like they're in this position? Because again, there was a benefit to it that at least you thought you was going to get. So how do you tell a woman who doesn't have a community behind her, go somewhere safe? Where's that? How do you tell a man that? How do you tell a child that? How do you tell anybody, hey, that community, that thing that you're supposed to be able to go to, that thing that was supposed to raise you, because remember, it's supposed to be a community that raised you. That's not a thing. Where you go. You know what I'm saying? And, there are some things, I've been to war. There are some things worse than death.
Yeah.
Starving is worse than death.
Yeah.
Death stops.
Yeah.
Starving is consistent.
Yeah, you suffering through it.
You know what I'm saying? Homelessness, I've been there. Sucks.
Same here.
Cause I've been homeless in the Midwest. They got winter. Y'all don't know about that.
Yeah.
Y'all had it for like a week. Y'all lost it. You know what I'm saying? So it's, what do you do when it's cold outside? You stand on your morals? It's tough. We see that with, cats with OnlyFans. These females is like, what are morals to starving?
It's true.
Shit. Yeah.
True.
Stress it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you be mad. You be like, I remember the song, what would you do if your son was at home and all that other. I remember it.
Yeah.
It was a dope conversation to have. It was a dope, social piece. But they both made a point, but the female made a point. I'm at home and we hungry now. Not hungry when I get my diploma, not hungry when I get my cert, not hungry when I get this job, and not hungry on the 90-day probation. We hungry today. We put ourselves in a condition that now money is the only solution to all our problems. And it's also the problem because now we have zero information on how to functionally delay gratification in order to get a systemic growth pattern.
That's what
can't do it. Shit. And then now you bring that into this argument, into this fight. I can't survive 2 weeks of him in jail to get to the safe place.
Right.
Man, hey, Shadira, please hurry.
Shadira, yeah.
Because I'm about to really say something because I know some shit. Go ahead.
I mean, I kind of got all the way panned out when all the different stuff started popping up. Honestly, from the first thing I wanted to say was when he was like, how do you tell the victim? How do you tell the victim? When you brought up the story. First and foremost, I don't know what anybody else has heard, but what I heard growing up is you don't get in the mix between a man and his woman.
I learned that later. I learned that later. At
the end of the day, they will turn on you.
They will.
Be the enemy now.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to like, how do you get a victim out of that?
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so I want to interrupt. We got somebody in the chat. This is somebody new.
Oh, snap. Okay, shout out. What's the name?
I got to give you that. Hold on. Oh, mic check. What is my mic check? My mic just died. Why you do that?
Oh, no.
Hold on. Don't do it to me.
We have a little difficulties, y'all.
But yeah.
All right, mic check. All right, cool. So, the Truth Don't Lie TV. It's been up in the chat. First of all, he likes your content. He said you need to have at least one show a week where it's just men. That's what he said.
What's his name? What's his name?
The Truth Don't Lie TV.
For sure. Thank you, brother.
He said, "Did you read my?" First of all, when we started, he said, "Did you read my mind?" I was thinking we need a show with no women at least once a week. I know it's not PC to say this, but women. Oh. Women ruin your show. They're clearly ultra feminist. He went on to say some stuff. He says he thinks you're suffering from PTSD because you put disclaimers on everything. You do say that a little bit. You be like, all right, before I say this.
I might. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know.
And then he said I was capping. That women only use this issue minimally. They thought for material gain majority of the time. So when I was saying like the thing about the
yeah,
he was like, nah.
First thing I want to say, man, appreciate your comments, man. Thank you for loving the show.
Yeah, man.
However, yes, this is what's supposed to be an all guys show. However, concerning with this topic, I just thought, I didn't want to make it like just one sided. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to hear both sides. We were supposed to have more guests coming to the show. It just been certain situations where they couldn't make it. But
go back to Shadira though.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go.
Look at it. She talking.
Yeah, no.
Come on with it, mama.
You be up in the chat, you can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel that way.
I mean, when in the chat, it's like you
You
hurry
type
up and say something,
it.
like,
Get it out the way.
I mean, I forgot where I left off at.
Oh snap! You were talking about how you don't stay away from when the man and the female do a situation, and then you also talked about it was something that you said too.
Just start from there though.
Yes, start
There
from
we go. You got to stay out the mix of that.
True.
Oh, victims. There we go.
Victims, yeah.
It's hard to try to break a victim out of like their victimhood because at the end of the day, like the only thing that can make a victim want to not be a victim and want to turn into a survivor is them being tired of it. That's why you have those people that'll constantly be going through certain abuses, whether it's man or a woman. They'll keep dealing with it until they finally be like, either they snap to where they just either kill themselves or do something to somebody else, or they eventually just break free. It's like with any type of growth, you can't expect somebody to want to get out of it just because you feel like that's what they're supposed to be doing. I see it's wrong. You need to see it's wrong too. Everybody's got their time, and we never know when it's their time. So as far as being like, how do you get a victim out of it? All you can do is, even though it's not too many safe spaces out here in the world, like if you see a situation like that and you don't want to be too in the business, like how you was trying to be Captain Saver, like instead of that, like even though you're security, you carry around some cards or something, like like here, like if
I just felt like I had to do it because it was in my my area. That's
He was on the clock.
Yeah, I was on the clock. You know what I'm saying? I felt like if I didn't do nothing, I was gonna get fired. So.
I was security before, and if excuse me. Y'all have to take that. Y'all have to take that. I'm not. You need help? No,
I got you.
Y'all.
I got you.
A lot of times, some of our people will indulge in getting into other people's business when it has nothing to do with them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And just like I was told at a young age, nothing comes between dick and pussy but a rubber.
Ain't love.
No matter what you do, say, or try to impose upon a person to make them leave, they're not going to leave until they're tired, like she just said. Yeah. A person will not be tired until they're tired, bro. You know what I mean? So you can go over here and try to stop the situation, try to offer a safe place for them. You may even have a safe place for them, but they're not going to go to that safe place until they're tired of the situation that they're actually in.
And the only reason why I say what you saying is true, bro. My sis, as you know what I'm saying? I do. She been going through this shit a lot with her bitch ass baby daddy. This nigga, he done a lot of things, and the only thing that kind of like annoyed me to what you said about when there's times when help is offered, whoever is the victim of the situation, they tend to find excuses to why they can't accept this help, and that's why when you were saying, Jive, that what you expect for them to do, like sometimes you have that help, but just like what y'all said, you have to get tired. You know what I'm saying? You have to want that help. And, you know, I've seen my sister get so many help, and it was going to change her life around. However, she still chose him over her. And one of the big excuses that annoys me about a woman and a man is they say things like, well, if I do this, you know, my kids gonna be asking for their mama or daddy. Like, I do this for the kids. And let me tell you why that shit pisses me off. And when I say this, I want y'all input on it. Let me tell you something. Stop looking at it from a survival standpoint. Look at it from a lesson. If you, man or woman, stay in a situation where someone is verbally abusing you, someone is physically abusing you, or just what in any kind of way, sexually, whatever, and you're around your kids, you're teaching your kids that this shit is normal.
Agreed.
You feel me? So now it's gonna be a pattern, and it's gonna get worse. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody teaching them. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't what you supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what really pisses me off when people use the excuses of the kids. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
The excuse of the kids where you like people stay for them kids and stuff like that. The kids are nothing more but a crutch.
Right.
Like, I've seen from a second hand to where people will use the kids as a crutch because they don't really want to let go. They're saying it's because, like, oh, it's for the kids,
But really it's them loving that person or whatever.
But most people know, like, it's even if they paid attention to their own parents, like, there's some things I don't like, I don't want, but they're not gonna think about it in the heat of the moment to where they're dealing with their partner, dealing with their situation. They're not gonna think about, okay, the kids. They might think about it after it's over, but they're not gonna think of it in the moment. Like, okay, dang, I don't want my kids to be seeing that or do. It's always like them sappy movies, right? Where it's always them conversations afterwards, after the mom done got beat up or whatever done happened with the dad and whatnot. Then you got the friend that's pulling them to the side and be like, your kids shouldn't see that. Your kids shouldn't see that. And they be like, I know. Like, it never clicks. Like, I can't remember what it's called, where it's like, it's some type of something. It's gonna come to me later.
Yeah,
but it's like a situation to where when people when they're actually dealing with it, I'm gonna say this quote that I saw on Facebook actually, to where it's like, when a person is drowning, is not the time to teach them how to swim. So it's like, in the midst of that, they're currently drowning. You can't expect them to try to really have some up and out of the water breathing air when they're drowning.
Discretion.
That's why they always say, give them some time, even if the incident just happened 5 minutes ago. Maybe they needed 5 minutes of whatever, sit in that moment to like actually deal with it. Yeah. And then afterwards, they're like, okay, I'm going to hear what you're saying now.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like sometimes that the victims normalize it. You know what I mean? They do. That's just who he is. It's okay. No, that's not okay. Right. You know what I mean? Even though I might see that it's not okay, but at that moment, they have normalized them being the victim to whatever situation it is, you know what I mean? And they take it as a part of love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, he loved me. I messed up. Now they're taking on this person's faults. You know what I mean? As if they messed up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And really and truly, it's not them. You know what I mean? You're taking on all their pressures and their whatever they got going on and blaming yourself for it. How? Because he beat me up last night because I messed around and I didn't cook the meal that he wanted.
I deserved that.
I deserved it. I should know what meal he wanted. How the hell was that supposed to happen?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So now you're showing your daughters. It's like you're showing your daughters, you know, it's okay for a man to hit you when you don't get it right. And you're showing your son, if your woman don't do this or do this right, you got the right to hit them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back to Color Purple.
Yeah.
You told Hobbo to beat me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it's not cool.
By the way, don't talk shit, y'all. I have yet watched that movie. I need to go look at it.
My brother's not black, guy.
I need to give it a chance. I have yet looked at it. I seen like scenes on Facebook.
Truth Don't Lie TV just said.
Truth Don't Lie TV just said, even though, you know, he wanted the all male thing, he likes Shorty. He likes you.
For sure.
So, he says that not all, but women see victimhood as sheroism.
Yeah.
They think it makes them sheroes to survive what their man is putting them through.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Absolutely.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Be a hero need to be a hero to them girls that's looking at you. You know what I mean? Not only your daughters, but you might have a family member. You might have someone
Someone who look up to you, basically.
someone that sees you day to day,
Yeah.
and doesn't even know your name, but looks up to you
Yeah.
and sees you going through the situation.
Yeah.
Be a real woman and lead.
Now he has a question, and I think this is going to take the conversation in a dope direction.
Okay.
He asked a question, and it's, why did the conversation, and I think he means at large, evolve into victim being synonymous with only women? This happens all too often.
More so because that's what we mainly see. You know what I mean? Because the men are not talked about as much as the woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So with the men not being talked about, it's mainly aimed at women now. You know what I mean? There are men that go through the same type of situations. You know what I mean?
Facts.
I've seen women that talk so bad to their man, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, get your stupid behind out of here. Don't you know better? See, that's why I can't stand you now.
And
You
it's,
ain't this, you ain't that.
and to add on to it too, it's like Tyrese, the singer. Everybody called him a crybaby. You know what I'm saying? And I could relate to this shit because there was a time where I spoke out on live on my Facebook. And if y'all know me, y'all know I don't be on live. But that was my first time doing it because I was trying to get my point across. And I had a few people, not all, but I had a few people that was telling me, oh, man, stop crying on social media, man. You ain't got to do that, man. You know, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, why I can't speak my opinion to how I feel? Why is it a man can't cry out with his words versus crying out in a physical or an aggressive, you know what I'm saying, standpoint where it destroys everything? So, you know, it just basically, like you said, when a man speaks out about how they feel or what they going through when it's containing with a relationship with someone, it don't even have to necessarily be a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife. It could be anything. But it's containing with the opposite sex. It's like we always get told to man up, shut up, deal with it, whatever.
It doesn't care the same weight as a female.
As a female.
You know what I
So
mean?
yeah.
I guess because it's like, I don't want nobody to think I'm sounding sexist or nothing like that. But it's really because they expect men to be more logical versus women to operate in our like emotions.
But if that's the
Like-
case, like I said, I only cut you off, brother, and you can go on. I promise. After I say this, you can go. So if that's the case, right? Because you got, and especially in these time, you have a lot of fearless women now, where they feel like they could do it better than a man, and I feel like if that's the case, where you feel like a man, you know, could you know, basically he has the mindset to you know, change the atmosphere to whatever he's dealing with. Y'all got the same mindset too. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't. I just feel like overall, you know, it's only complaining when a man or a woman is involved in a situation and they get the help, but they don't do nothing with the help. That's when it's complaining. But when a person is speaking out about their situation, they not being heard and whatever, like, why be sexist about it? Just
because it's not gonna sound fair, but women are able to manipulate emotional situations more than men. Point blank, period.
That's true.
Like it sounds suckish to where it's like how you said when you went on live, you was stressed out, you was listen, but at the end of the day, people told you like, yo, man up. That's because they're not expecting you to have emotional intelligence for real. When they hear you complaining, they feel like, I don't think you got your emotions in check.
Yeah,
I feel like you ain't doing what you supposed
Yeah,
to be doing
yeah.
at this point. Why
Yeah.
women? Oh, if she going off the bat or whatever the case may be, if she's a woman, she's like this new lingo they say now. She's just a girl. No.
she'll get over it. It's okay.
It's emotional manipulation,
Yeah,
and it's
that's
just
real shit.
because women
Stressful.
get to like it sounds sexist, but we get to be as emotional as we
y'all
want
wanna be.
even though, like how you said earlier, accountability needs to be held. It's not being taught. You don't have women teaching
Scratch it.
accountability.
Say that one more time.
Like,
One more time. One more time. You gotta say it one more time.
I don't even remember what I just said. Like,
You said that
The accountability needs to be held on both hands, male and female.
Yeah, it's not being taught.
It's not being
It's the situation. It's not. Being
Well,
taught.
so, and I want to say this super fast,
Go ahead.
but like, there's a benefit. There was a cost benefit to women always being able to be emotional, and then men not being able to be emotional, right? Because it created a very easy stereotype to live up to. You know what I'm saying? So I get to be the leader because I'm logical, and you got to follow me because your emotions are all over the place. And then inside of there is an excuse, because if she's overly emotional, it's because she's just a woman. What could you expect? But women have a mind, just like you do.
Yeah.
Women are very intelligent, so they know how to play that. You know what I'm
Very
saying?
crafty.
There's a lot of women who know how to play that. Like, oh, I'm going to play these emotions up. I remember when I was married, and my wife at the time, her sister and her mother had gotten into it, and then I took them out. I took her, took her sister out, and we went to another house, and she was in the car. Like, cause they put hands on each other. She in the car laughing, like, yeah, and I do it again. And I'm just sitting over here, and she's like 13, 14 years old. I'm like 19 at the time, something like that.
That's crazy.
And I pull out, and I go to this other house. She goes, take me over here. And I go, okay. She goes, okay. And I'm going to walk her to the door. She looked at me and goes, watch this. As soon as the door opened, tears flooded.
Wow.
I mean, she was, oh my God. And I stood there like,
Damn.
What the fuck happened? Yeah.
to this day, she still laughs about that. She goes, yeah, I know.
Wow.
Like, she turned, I'm talking about face flush, eyes red, in front of my face instantaneously.
That's crazy.
But that's what you were saying earlier. It's about manipulation, but being able to manipulate your environment takes understanding. Understanding takes logic.
Yeah.
Women are thinkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So when you start putting them in that thing, you're telling them, "Oh, you giving me my excuse." So when you take men out of that box, and you don't give them emotions, then they have the excuse of, "Well, I haven't been able to have these things, so now when I have them the wrong way, how could you blame me?" You see what I'm saying?
And
so,
hold on, I'm gonna let you say.
go ahead.
Yeah. See, my thing is this, right? A lot of females, if a man is always stern, you know what I mean, and doesn't show those emotions like we're talking about, he's deemed emotionless. You know what I mean? But the time that he does show emotions, now it's a double standard. You know what I mean? How does that work? You know what I mean? Either you want me to be or you don't want me to be.
Can't be lukewarm, baby.
Yeah, I can't be in the middle. You know what I mean? So when I show you these raw emotions and these uncut emotions, and you can't handle my emotions now, you know what I mean? Because my emotions can end up being physical. You know what I mean? Not necessarily upon this person, but it may cause me to leave.
Yeah.
It may cause me to change my energy towards you.
Real shit. Express it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, do you want me to bottle these emotions up and keep them in my back pocket, or do you want me to let them out and show you this is what I'm feeling? This is
And
how
then
I'm
usually when you put them in I always use this example to anybody who go through these type of situations with any kind of abuse, and you feel like you have to keep it to yourself. Put a cup in a sink and turn the water on, but let it run slowly. When it builds up to the top, what happens?
It's gonna overflow.
And that's what I see with emotions. When you keep that within, eventually it's gonna turn into something totally else. You know what I'm saying? When it all could have been start off with you expressing how you feel, and it should have been heard. Or, and if it's not being heard, then walk away from the situation and be somewhere else where you're supposed to be heard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, man. Like yeah, I don't know. It's like there's times where, like, for an example, right? Because Jive, you said something that caught my attention. If I could my mind served me right. I got a bad memory.
Truth Don't Lie said, I like her.
Oh shit.
I like her. Ask her if she wants to take me out.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I never experienced this on the show. Shadira.
A lovely red.
Somewhere he could be sitting with you, yeah, you know. Yeah,
It's a little room for both of y'all, though.
yeah, you're right. You know.
He also says that all jokes aside, he also says, you can't, because you let them tell you can't, talking about having emotions, because you let them tell you can't, F what they say. Why do you need external permission or approval to be you? Men let societal expectations define us. That's our fault. Matriarchy poisoning got us feeble as hell.
Facts.
Yeah. He said some shit right there. The only reason why, all right, so listen, I agree with you totally. The only reason why, it's not too much more of like, I need you to, like, when I say these things, acknowledge to how I feel, because it don't even have to be a female. It could be a male that's not going to acknowledge to how you feel. You know what I'm saying? So it's not too much more of acknowledgement. It's more of you stressing it. Like, it's kind of like, all right, I'm gonna use you as an example. If someone, both of y'all, you have dreads, or that's just your hair braided?
Oh no, I cut my locks off.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, this is the fact that both of y'all hair twisted. Okay, if somebody come up here right now and take scissors and try to cut your hair, most people who have this journey of locking their hair, it usually be a spiritual journey or it be for an appearance wise. If someone does that, you going to stand on 10 toes like, hey, hold up, don't touch my hair. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna let it be known to why you're not gonna touch my hair, right? So I feel like when it comes down to a relationship standpoint, it's not too much more of a person acknowledging to how you feel. It's more of you just letting it be known. You're not gonna hit me. Do not call me out my motherfucking name. You know what I'm saying? Whether I'm the breadwinner of this house or not, I should not be treated as, you know what I'm saying, a dog, or respect is due to a dog.
Boundaries, bro.
Boundaries.
There
Facts.
has to be boundaries in everything that you do.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Especially like in a relationship. You know what I mean? Because like there's certain things I'm not going for, period. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You can't come in the house and be like, motherfucker, that.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, who you talking to?
All right.
You know what I mean? Hold on, that's not how I speak to you. You're not gonna speak to me that way.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
So I'm gonna give you the respect that I feel like I deserve myself first. You know what I mean? If you can't respect me with those type of same values that I give you, oh, it's a problem.
Facts.
Because if I'm giving it to you, you damn sure got to give it to me.
Right.
Let me ask you this question, and I want to see if you can turn the corner on this. With all this leadership, you know, men are leaders, you know, this, that, and the third. I do notice that there is an uptick in the concept of financial abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Because I make the money, you gotta toe this line, you gotta stay in your place, you gotta but also there is a call for men to be in this sort of, the opposite end is to be in this financially subservient role where you're constantly giving up your money to the house, to her needs, her wants, her desires.
Yeah.
You have to make so much money.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on financial, that financial manipulation?
Let me
financial
tell
abuse?
you what, I'm gonna say this, Malik, I'm gonna let you talk, brother. I promise to God I'm gonna let you talk. So listen, you know, I feel like I blame the father and the woman when it comes down to that situation. Depending on what father you have, you know, certain fathers make it seem like, yes, you have to do X, Y, and Z to prove that you're the head of the household. Because if you do this, you know, not only you supposed to do this as a man, and due to leadership and all of the other shit, once again, like you said not too long ago, Jav, it also, quote unquote, will put a woman in her place to not, you know what I'm saying, violate you because you own this. You the breadwinner. The female is also wrong in this situation as well because they make this. I've seen female on social media that will that meet a man that makes like good money, right? Money to keep your head above the water, and just because he said I don't want to buy this for you, now he's a quote unquote broke nigga because he don't want to buy something for you when you could clearly get your ass up and get you a job too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you really want it. So I really feel like when it comes down to the parenting, I'm not saying that a man should not provide for his family. Provide for your family by all means necessary. However, I feel like I'm just a strong believer of everything don't have to be on you. And not only that, I feel like men need to chill out with this, she ain't going nowhere because I'm paying for this and I'm paying for that. You know what I'm saying?
That money don't keep him no more. Huh?
Well, it don't, but you got a lot of women in this generation. For some reason, it does. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and I'm going right back towards you.
Oh shit!
I feel like she's just over here
shit.
enjoying the scenery, and I don't like that right now.
Shadira, what you?
Shadira just like, oh, it's so nice in here. The lovely furniture. It's the furniture is furniture. The roses is dangling and everything. I like. No, but all jokes aside, like there is this financial conversation, be it abuse, be it a manipulation, be it expectations, is just proof of the financial insecurity that you have in this community. Women are raising the rate of what makes them feel comfortable because social safety nets are disappearing. The ability to run away from some responsibilities, they're definitely making it harder for, for unwanted and unplanned pregnancies. Mm-hmm. So there's this fear that if I'm playing, because in this community we like to play capitalism. Mm-hmm. We like to use all the terms and stuff. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm this and I'm that and I'm that and I'm this. And you want to play it with an economic floor that you can't go beneath. Mm-hmm. So I need somebody that no matter what I do irresponsibly, you got to be here because
to catch my fall.
To catch my fall.
Yeah, and also understand too to what you're saying. Then I'm gonna let you talk. Then I'm gonna let Malik talk. That when it comes down to that, because I heard this thing about when it comes down to partnership, they do this 50-50 thing, right? And the only reason why I don't believe in 50-50 when it comes down to a financial standpoint is because life be lifing. So sometimes I can't give you 50%. Sometimes I can only give you 10. Sometimes I can only give you 20. Can you be able to capitalize from that for me due to the fact that what we got going on and due to the fact that I've been there when I was up? You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. Go ahead, Shadira.
Pulling up this note.
Uh-oh.
Pulling up this note.
He said, he's up in the chat. He said adults should provide for their families. Not just men.
Not just
agreed.
That's the point. That's the point. Yeah.
Okay. So,
I'm gonna invite you to the show, big dog. I like this.
Yeah.
As far as just on the notes, because I be watching not just the black community, but other communities versus us.
Okay.
So it's like when you look at why other people get involved and get engaged with people, they set their boundaries up for different reasons than we do at first. And I really blame it on the fact that we weren't taught any type of anything. No emotional control, no mental, how to actually be mentally stable, how to actually build something and maintain something.
No economics or nothing.
Nothing at all. Versus other people. This was just based off of over in China, to where the first thing they do when they're looking for a spouse is they want to know your age, height, and your education. They want to know what your personal income is. What do you personally own? What does your family have? What's your parents' retirement plans? They have certain things that they know is needed for a relationship outside of just I like you, I think you look good, you're kind of funny, you make me feel good. They know that there's building blocks needed. And a lot of the times,
Foundations.
there we go. That's the word. I like that word better.
Yeah.
And a lot of the
Why he on
times,
the show? That's my boy. He know how to make the long story short. Go ahead.
and a lot of the times, we don't know how to actually cultivate. We don't know how to build nothing up. We barely know how to maintain ourselves, which is why a lot of people miss out on that famous word that Job said, accountability.
Right.
Nobody knows how to, well, I'm not going to say nobody. A good bit of people don't have accountability for themselves. They don't have mental accountabilities on how you actually logically move. What are your, like, what it was a word y'all said earlier, as far as what are y'all beliefs or something like that, morals that you stand
Morals,
on.
yeah,
People
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have their own morals that they stand on. And then it's not just them as an individual. You go back, start looking at their parents, their grandparents, even great grandparents that's still
Right.
alive, and nobody down the family line got that either.
Right.
So it's like everybody's pretty much getting it how they live.
And what's being shown, like what's being televised, what's being on the radio, what's
Right,
being on
right.
social media. They make these things like this is normal. This the
And
new
these
normal.
TV shows, because there's a bunch of TV shows. I don't watch them, but I see like snippets
What's
on
going-
Facebook.
yeah, me too.
So it's like I see the snippets on Facebook, and I see what they're promoting as. Okay, this is a functional family for the black family. When you go look at other countries and other groups of people, they're like, that ain't
That's
what
dysfunctional as hell.
like that ain't what we going for.
What you had to say, Bubba?
I was back to where we was talking about with the male and female and the abuse of in the financial area, and how a man is supposed to be the provider and all this type of stuff. And you had said, "What if you can't give nothing but 10% this month?" You know what I mean? You can't do the whole 50-50 thing. I went through a situation a couple of years back. I couldn't even walk. I tore my ACL, the interior and exterior meniscus. I literally could not walk.
I remember that.
I had a cast from my ankle to my hip. You know what I mean? I had to relearn myself how to walk again. That was like 4 months with no, I couldn't walk from here to that door without crutches. Literally, to go to the bathroom, I had to have help getting out of bed and get my crutches to go to the bathroom. But guess what? My fiance, Tiara, love you, girl. She took on that responsibility and made sure that household operated the same way as if I was working.
Good woman right there.
You know what I mean? She stood 10 toes down and took care of everything she needed to take care of the way it needed to be taken care of without question, without dropping the respect level for me in any manner. You know what I mean? See, when I found her as a partner, it was more than just a partner in a relationship. It was a partner in life. You know what I mean? It was a partner that gave me solidified what I was myself. You know what I mean? Baby, don't worry about it. We're gonna take care. I'm gonna take care of this. We're gonna make sure everything is all right. I'm gonna make sure that everything operates the way it's supposed to, even though you're down.
That's a real woman.
I'm gonna protect this household. I got you. So that showed me right there, it's not just about my financial standpoint in our relationship. You know what I mean? It's about us growing together. She invested in me just like I invested in her.
Right.
So now our family standpoint financially, it may not be here, but guess what? It's on an incline. You know what I mean? We're doing things to grow bigger, better, financially, mentally, emotionally, and all. We don't have that type of abuse in our relationship. You know what I mean? And if a situation happens where something is not kosher for either or, it's gonna be a discussion. Right then, not later on, right then. It's gonna happen. Even if we have to pull away from what we got going on at this point, say we're right here right now, we had a disagreement. We'll step outside. Hey, look, I don't like the way you was talking today. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Or she'd be like, Malik, But you gotta have that type of balance somewhere.
And I feel like the only way to have that balance too, bro, is when a person, once again, this word keep being passed around, accountability. You have to know when you're wrong. And
Yeah,
not only you got to know when you're wrong, but even when you right, whether you right or wrong, it's the fact that the person that you love is hurt by whatever you said or done. And if that's not enough to make you, baby, I'm sorry, I didn't know that affected you, let me, X, Y, and Z, then something ain't right with that picture. You know what I'm saying?
Also, setting that boundary.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? A lot of us tend to be wooed by a person by their looks, by their conversation, or whatever in the beginning of a relationship. And we forget about setting our boundaries with these people. You know what I mean? Oh, listen, I'm not gonna stand for you talking to me all kind of way. I'm not gonna stand for you acting all type of way with the attitude. I'm not gonna stand for you hitting on me, touching me inappropriately in any type of way. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and that's real.
When we don't set those boundaries, what are they gonna do? They're gonna run rampant. They're gonna do whatever they do to their advantage. You know what I mean? Right. At that point, until you come with, hey, look, that ain't cool.
From the start.
Yeah. But if you done been letting this go on for 6 months,
what you expect?
You're gonna get what you get. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like what they say when they're like, a person can only hide themselves for no more than like 3 months before the real them starts coming out.
Exactly.
So in the midst of that, they're in what they call like the lovey-dovey phase and everything. So while they're going through the lovey-dovey phase, they're not going to be trying to do anything to step on your toes or say anything wrong.
They're going to walk on eggshells all the way.
And then when they finally start slipping out, then it's like, okay, now I got to set these boundaries because I don't like that. And that's why most of the time when it hits like 6 months, it's always getting rocky because it's like, you ain't doing how you used to do. Now you kind of like, you getting careless a little bit now.
I'm going to tell y'all something, right?
Complacent.
What was that term where it breeds contempt or something like that? Comfortability or familiarity breeds contempt?
You become complacent. You become complacent. You know what I mean?
That's educated as hell. Oh, I love it though. But no, I'm gonna tell y'all something real shit, like for me, right? And I know. By the way, this is gonna be a part 2 conversation out of this. So when we come back, I need you here, okay? I need you here, and hopefully we'll have everybody, to be here. One of the things when it come down to like being in a relationship or dating or whatever, when I meet someone, right, and there's gonna be a lot of people who gonna say something about this, probably y'all too. I don't believe in paying for the first date. I feel like when you show them that you could pay for things, it gives them the wrong impression about you because now they want this consistently from you. I feel like, this also goes to show who you dealing with if you don't pay. If you pay for yourself and that person pay for themselves and they willing to do that, that shows me your character. If you want some, no, I don't want to date you there because if you then that's an issue to me. Now, to me, that makes me feel like you money hungry. Because, you know what I'm saying? You have certain women who don't even necessarily like the guy. But it's the fact that one day they woke up hungry and the nigga want to take him out on a date. You know what I'm saying? And now he done spent like, you're right, he done spent like $90 or $100 at a restaurant, a fancy restaurant. And then after that, you're on block because now she done got what she wanted. Yeah. And I'm not saying all female does that, but you got
a good bit of them in today's time, do.
Yeah, in this generation, yeah.
You know, I like the fact that my fiance, we'll get dressed, or we might just wake up in the morning, take out Sunday school, might be sitting around the house, you know what I mean, or laying in the bed. She's like, let's go to breakfast.
My baby do that too. Love you, girl.
I mean, let's go to breakfast.
Yeah.
All right, cool, let's go. We get there. When we get finished eating, I might be going, I got it. I got it right here. Malik, I got it.
My baby.
You know what I mean?
Do the same shit. Yeah.
So I might still be sitting there, shit, jump a little happy ass up and go, boop, boop, boop.
Yeah. Happy about it.
Yeah.
You feel me? Yeah.
But it make me feel good because it lets me know that what I have is genuine.
Right.
It's not about the financial. You know what I mean? So we don't have to go through the financial abuse where because I make money, more money than you, or you got to do what I say, or you got to pay all the time, or whatever like this here. You know what I mean? Or I don't look down on her if she makes less money than I do, because there's been times where I made way more than she did, and there's been times where I made less than she did. But either way, the respect still stay at a certain level.
Because at the end of the day, money don't make you. You make the money.
Right.
And, you can't bring this money with you when you die. And also, like I said before, in several different occasions, there's people that's, whether they famous or not, but it's the fact that they very wealthy. They have all the money in the world, and they still not happy. It don't take them where they want, where they trying to get to. You know what I'm saying? For an example, I just seen this weird ass video. What his name? Ray J. Ray J was on stage performing with someone, and at the end of the show, I think it was Trey Songz. Trey Songz had the show, and Ray J said, "Hey man, I got like, I think he said he got like $5,000 or $10,000 for any girl who want to sleep with him for the night." You know what I'm saying? And I can honestly, when I watched it, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but when I watched it, a lot of the females at the show was disgusted by it. So it kind of goes to show you, like, certain women is not gonna go for that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the ones that won't go for it.
Yeah, shout out to you. Much love, baby. Much love. It's about to be 10 o'clock, y'all.
Can't run a little over because we got started a little late. So if you want to run over a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Ja, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. For sure. But yeah, though, man, it's just like, you know, I feel like when it comes down to that financial thing, man, and slash manipulating, you know, like, that's really, I think that hurts more than the physical abuse, because, you know, when you lose your mind from a situation like that, man, life is just miserable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? After that, you know what I'm saying? It takes time to rebuild yourself. Yeah. All it. And you watch When I Fall, bro. I did. He's you feel me? He's seen it a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it's very it's hard. You know what I'm saying? But once again, like you were saying, I think everybody could agree to this. You have to want it. You have to want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain situations now, since I've learned to not get in between a wiener and a vagina. As I learned not to get in between that, you feel me?
Not to be a condom.
Yeah, you feel me? Like, I've learned that sometimes you have to let a person fall on their face to really see what's out there. You know what I'm saying? And why this particular situation that they fighting for so bad, it's not for them. I always let this shit be known to everybody. You can't do CPR on a dead body. Once that shit is dead,
it's dead.
It's dead. So when it gets to a point of hurting you, like in a physical or a mental standpoint, and especially when you got babies, like, you got to change that atmosphere, if not for you, at least for the kids. Because even though they could see that, yes, it's affected mama or affected daddy, it also show another side of, you know, my mom and my daddy got tired of that shit and they did something about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It kind of reminds me of, it was a podcast of, it was when the bull ring was here. And it was something, I think it was either I Support Savannah said, or one of the bull ring guys. One of them said it, as far as doing based on boundaries. Like, me finally setting that boundary is finally you recognizing, like, you fell on your face.
Right.
So it's like, once you fall on your face, then you realize I got to set that boundary.
Bless you.
So it's like, until that fall on the face, or until, like, a person be like, nah, a person, they're going to keep being abused, or they'll keep doing the abusive thing to that person until something puts that stop. So that fall on the face is that, like, recognition that, like, yo, I need something.
Right. You know, I'm going to give y'all an example, especially the males, right? Do y'all recall when y'all were younger and y'all parents were beating y'all ass? When you got about 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there, they went to beat your ass and you snatched that belt or you grabbed that belt or whatever it may be. That was your boundaries being set. I'm not going to stand for you whooping on me no more. You know what I mean?
So why have boundaries for certain situations?
Right.
When it could be like a
across the board.
You feel me?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, real shit.
You got to have those boundaries set up for life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If you come to my house and you stay up all night and I have to wake at 3 o'clock in the morning, but you up, music wide open, you know what I mean? I'm going to tell you, hey, bro, look, I got to get up in the morning.
Right.
I'm going to need you to tone that shit down.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if I don't ever say nothing,
how can you expect a person?
How can I expect you to respect how should I deem you to be knowing that I want you to calm down with whatever you got going on because I got to work. You know what I mean?
That's real.
If I don't make these rules and regulations in my household from the beginning with you, when you come stay, hey, bro, I'm gonna come stay with you for 2 weeks. All right, cool. All right, check this out, bro. You know I get up early in the morning. Don't be too loud, bro. Don't do all the extra stuff. Don't do this. Don't do that. You know what I mean? If you mess it up, clean it up. You know what I mean? Type stuff. But if I don't ever say nothing, you run around. How can I be mad with you for doing what you do?
Right.
You living in what you used to live in, the way you used to do it.
Yeah, that shit.
It's like this circle to where it's like you got 2/3 type of people. You got people that know better and do better. Then you got the people that know better but don't care to do better. And then you got the people that's straight out ignorant. You could deal with somebody that's straight out ignorant because they don't know.
Right.
You don't know any better.
But the ones who do know, those are the ones that I can't stand. Yeah, it really bothers me.
They don't want to be better. They just want to keep pushing the limit to see how far they can test your boundaries. Because some people, that's how they end up, like some men, that's how they end up in victimhood. Because they done let somebody test the boundaries and keep testing it, and then they finally just went over the boundaries to where they don't care anymore. And I was like,
yeah. And then it's usually the people that you love the most.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I had a homeboy ask me one time. He said, "How can you love someone that wants you to kill them? How can you love someone that wants you to kill them?"
I had to make sure I heard that right.
Yeah, I said exactly what I said. But he explained it like this. If it was a stranger in the streets that walked up and cussed you out, treated you all kind of ways, you'll want to kill them, right? But when your family members come and do the same exact shit to you,
manipulating shit right there.
the ones that you tell I love you and they say they love you back, they do the same exact shit to you over and over again, and you do nothing.
I think it's that trauma bond. People want to keep that love so bad, and forgetting like respect is really important.
How do you love a person that wants you to kill them?
So here's a crazy thing.
Wrong mic.
All right, here's a crazy thing. Because I think for a lot of us, we date the people who validate us. You know what I'm saying? So she validates him physically. She's so fine. She sexually da 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 da. When I pull up and she get out my car, I look like this. So he might take the financial manipulation.
That's his securities, though.
It definitely is. You know what I'm saying? He validates her financially. He might validate her sexually and physically too. You see what I'm saying? So for that, I'll accept the unacceptable because it matters how this person validates me. I'll say it in a less problematic way. The friend zone, the difference between the friend zone and the guy that gets to like cut on the first date or whatever, is just levels of validation. Because sex with him or access to him validates her immediately. The guy who is in the friend zone, she still wants his validation. She's just not willing to pay the premium. I like the way he makes me feel, but I'm not about to give him what he wants for that. That dude, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? If I'm seeing with him, it looks like something. If I get to experience this person, it says something. Da, 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 da. But the guy in the friend zone doesn't have the benefit of having whatever it takes for her to, and this is very transactional because it is, but to in order for her to pay into that validation. So there's a lot of men in that friend zone because there's a difference between friend zone and friendship. You know what I'm saying? So, I have women that are friends. I'm not in their friend zone. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of girls on my podcast that we friends. I'm not in their friend zone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing else I want out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but a lot of women know that. He's going to, I could call this dude and he's going to say and do and be all the things that I want, but I don't have to pay into that premium. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's a manipulation. You know what I'm saying? So just to say that in a less problematic way,
yeah.
there is a premium on that person that the person, like when you said, I tried to bring up the fight, she knows the premium. You don't know the cost.
Yeah.
She does.
Mm-hmm.
And you messing up her payment plan. You
But
know
you
what I'm
said
saying?
some shit.
The long term versus the short term gratification.
There it is.
That
yeah.
emotional lock, that right there is a long term goal. He's gonna constantly make me feel good to where I don't have to worry about this one person just the instant. You, I know if I'm feeling bad, my heart's heavy, even if you ain't the problem, I had a bad day, I know I can call
count on
you.
you.
And I'm like,
Truth Don't Lie said he wants you to know that I relate to that. Women been using me for my looks my entire life.
Oh man.
He said, when is she going to she need to get it together and ask for my phone number. I'ma play shy. That's what he said.
This nigga. Shit, there. I ain't know you had it like that, baby.
I have nothing. What did Whitney
I ain't know you
say?
had it like
I have
that.
nothing.
The brother is interested.
Yeah.
What did Whitney say? I have nothing.
That bad. Oh man.
So about he shooting shots at.
Hey,
Tell
hey,
me,
can I say this too?
Like
Can
he
I say?
Allen Iverson.
Hey, can I say this too?
Yeah,
If
his
you think
crossover
about
is
it,
killer.
you know what I'm saying? My girl, she's well covered and still pull them. Still pull them without trying, boy.
Yeah.
Quit playing with her. but nah. So I want to.
Bathed in the blood of the lamb, somewhere say. And look at him.
Hallelujah.
They keep the wolf off.
There, take her glasses off.
Put that pillow down.
Don't get shot now.
But she shot out. Ooh,
Yeah.
and she's getting rosy out there.
She'll start busting and everything.
Right, yeah, she blushing like a bug.
Wow, this is such a lovely room, y'all. A lovely
Yeah,
room.
it's lovely
Let
conversation
us
too.
let us see you enjoy it. There you go.
Right,
Take that down.
right.
This person,
But listen,
But hey, y'all,
together.
listen. If you wasn't desirable by someone, that'd be a problem, right?
I mean, if I was really looking for the validation,
Oh, no. I'm saying it's not even the validation. Someone will be attracted to you regardless of whatever. You know what I mean? And he like what conversation you've already given to the public. So it's not just your physical, because he only see so much. So it's this intellect.
I guess I view it like how the story of the ugly duckling is, to where it's like, because I've been in conversations to where people don't like how I'm talking. They don't like what I got to say, let alone, I don't even like what you look like, what you're wearing. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I guess because it's just like me, when I think about it, I just want to be able to be myself, to where if it comes in my mind, if I'm thinking about a certain topic or I'm being a part of a topic, if I want to add to it, I want to add to it. And I don't want to be like shamed for just being me.
Right.
Not trying to be like rude to anybody or anything like that. But if I feel like I got something to add or I can help maintain, then that's just what I'm trying to do. So it's like when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, okay, ooh, wow.
Okay, wow. Okay.
So look, right. I want to hit deeper. I want to dig in there. You know what I'm saying? A little deeper. Pause. So.
For real.
Hey, I'm just saying. I gotta say it. I gotta
When
say
you
it.
said pause, that was just like,
I gotta say it.
The pause is mad necessary.
But nah though. So look, right? Because Jive, you said something outside this conversation that I also want to bring into this conversation.
Okay.
The sexual abuse.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm gonna put myself out there. Now this is not here to, hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because I still know this individual, and even though me and this individual doesn't talk, it's nothing. I don't have no hate towards her. So I kept my virginity for a very long time before I met this young lady. My whole goal was my mama told me to whenever you give yourself to this person, like let this be your person. You know what I'm saying? Don't just give yourself to any and everybody. So I'm a mama's boy. So I really took that to heart. My mom was a virgin until she got married. You know what I'm saying? So I always honored her for that. You know what I'm saying? So knowing that at the time I never knew how sex felt, I felt like as long as I didn't feel it, I felt like I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't seek for the desires of it because I'm so caught up into your mind and your heart. However, at the age of 21, a friend of mine's, used to be a close friend of mine's, She didn't respect that, and she took it up a notch without my consent. And I remember when she did what she did. Granted, at first I didn't like it because that ain't what I wanted. However, as it kept going on throughout that time, I eventually liked it because I never experienced it. And I just went with it. After that, I just became a horny ass rabbit for a while. You know what I'm saying? Because of what was done to me. So I bring that up to say this. Women at times, when not all, but you have those kinds that have this thing about them when a man say, I don't want to have sex with you, or not tonight, I'm tired, or whatever the case may be. They tend to ignore that because they feel like all men is the same when it comes down to.
Okay, I've been there before.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been there.
Okay. They all feel like you know what I'm saying, they feel like men is all the same when it comes down to sex. They feel like all men, want it every day, consistently, whatever. And so when they say the words of not right now or not today or whatever the case may be, they look at it from a standpoint of I'm fine as hell and niggas want me and I'm stopping. I'm ignoring them to give it to you and you don't want it. So you either must be talking to some other girl or, you're gay or just whatever crazy shit that would be said. And then like in my situation, it was taken advantage of. And when I went to go out to tell people, you know what I'm saying, what I experienced, they laughed at me. It was like, oh, nigga, that ain't no rape. Nigga, you wanted that. You know what I'm saying? That was the response that I had gotten from out of that. You know what I'm saying? And it changed me for a while to a point where I had to really calm myself down because I was using sex for more than just for pleasure. I was using it for anything, however I felt. So I want to talk about that.
You had that turned you into a hypersexual person.
Yeah.
Like that was like it was a conflicting. You knew you didn't want it at first.
Yeah.
And you knew you were abused. Yeah. But then you had people around you, and even the person that continued to do that, because that's also something in psychology is also like when people consistently go through the same pattern, they, like you said earlier, they get comfortable, they get complacent in it. So for you got complacent in it, even though you knew
this ain't what I wanted. Yeah,
but the person kept doing it anyway. It's same thing when you see like child abuse and stuff like that. The kids where they be like, why is this child turning into this? Why is this child turning that? Well, it's because that pattern made them feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to like it. Repetition. I'm supposed to like it. And it wasn't it. And then they wind up branching off in different ways to where it's normally they turn into hypersexual individuals. It's not just I'm horny. It's I'm just trying to feel something at this point because you were taken away from actually recognizing what you felt on your own because somebody took it from you.
Right.
So it's like, it's bad that they laughed at you for that because they shouldn't have laughed at you for that. Because at the end of the day, abuse, no matter if it's emotional, mental, financial, sexual, is abuse. And it doesn't matter if it's a man or it doesn't matter if it's a woman. It's terrible more when it's men because I hope women don't take this wrong when I say this now. Y'all, I'm just saying like it's worse for men because most of the time y'all don't talk about it. Y'all don't get to be victims. Y'all have to be the victorious people. So
and
it's
that's
like,
why I'm speaking out, y'all, with giving out my personal experiences with certain things because I want to show y'all that the differences between telling your business to boundaries. You know what I'm saying? You just letting it be known, like, listen, this is what I won't tolerate, and then explaining why by experiences. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's real shit. I fuck what you saying. Jive, you said you been through that.
Yeah, I've been through. I'm not as brave as you are, so I'm gonna my stuff is gonna be a little bit more anonymous.
I got you.
But I definitely been in a situation where kind of got taken advantage of.
Yeah.
By a lady, and especially just being very general, when you're a bigger guy.
Yeah, it's frowned upon.
It's like, nah, and it's just like, and then you're in this space, and then,
even the people who you think would be the people who are empathetic, we always say like women are the ones that understand and they get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then even when they, you know, they heard it was like, so then you got to get a coping mechanism. So it's just like, all right, whatever. I still see this person.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a crazy world to live in that, you know, I think that's why a lot of, when you see a lot of, because this happens to, you know, men from other men, and this is where you get this response to sexual behavior. This is where you get the response, the quote unquote homophobia is a lot of it is trauma induced. You know, his reaction to, you know, homosexuality is his bristling up because he's really responding to something that's happened to him. It's not that this person doesn't like people who are gay. He still equates that with something that happened to him, and we don't make space for that. She said something. She said, you know, regardless if it's men or women, it's abuse. Regardless if it's men or women, it should be abuse, but it's not. It's context matters, and way things are framed takes away humanity from a lot of people when they're talking about abuse. Even with women, we decontextualize women when it comes to finances. Oh, you just stayed because of the money. So now we're not even identifying her abuse. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So now it's like, well, yeah, as his wife, I leaned on him financially, but he took that advantage and he thought he could be able to do this to me. And because you didn't automatically leave because, yeah, the kids, yeah, the foundation, yeah, all the things you put into it. And I, you know, I'm just, you know, giving it the most, you know, honorable intentions. Even when the women who are, you know, you see the chicks who are up under these thugs. And these thugs, they thugs. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen a what do you call it? A reel where a dude was doing poetry, and he was just like, you mad because he broke your heart? Well, bitch, he kills niggas.
What the hell you thought?
Like, what do you like? You know what I'm saying? You thought he was supposed to be running out this, you know, taking care of you. He killed. Of course, he hurts people. That's what he does. But some of it in our society, even for men, and especially for men, is something about being able to conquer that thing and bridle that thing. You don't want the good girl. You don't want the good guy because it doesn't say anything about your ability to conquer it. So yeah, she wants that thug because it's almost like taking a wild pit bull and then it's gonna bite everybody but me. It says something about me. I can handle it. You can't. And so forth with, you know, oh, she gonna be a hoe in the streets. Yeah, she was like that until she met me. I'm the one that broke her. I'm the one that got her in the house. I'm the one that got her cooking and cleaning. You know what I'm saying? Like, it says something about you. At least you think it's going to.
Yeah, at least you think. Yeah, about to say, at least you think.
It says something, but not what you thought it was.
Not for real. Because I know people who, you feel me, who like, you know, live that thug life, and you know what I'm saying, meet a woman that's, you know what I'm saying, non-thuggish but attracted to thug men, and they feel like, you know, they love the appearance of a bad guy, but they feel like
Truth Don't Lie said same I have to happens more often than we're willing to speak out in the world. So it's crazy how many men have these experiences, and a lot of women are just like, it happens so, and like, you never know who you're talking to.
You don't.
And whose eyes are, eyes, whose experiences are looking through those eyes and going, okay.
Yeah.
And then just letting you have your moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You said you was 21 when it happened to you?
Yeah.
How old were you, Jive?
My 30s.
Okay. I was 13. And she was 27. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Clear case.
Yeah, man.
But
mine had to do with drugs. So that's you know what I mean.
Gotcha.
Just
But my situation was I was visiting family in Atlanta.
Thank you for telling us your story too, bro. I didn't know that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
And you too, Job.
It's not something that phases me now.
Yeah, of course.
But I was 13 years old, and like I was staying with my uncle, and the apartments that he stayed in, it wasn't the best of conditions around there. You know what I mean? As far as like what was going on, a lot of dope selling, a lot of shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting out on the little patio area. And I could see straight across to the other apartment. You know what I mean? Older guys over there. You know what I mean? They smoking, they drinking, they doing their thing. So they were like, "What's up, man? Come on." I walk over there, start kicking with them. You know what I mean? First time smoking weed. You know what I mean? Well, not the first, but one of the first times.
Mm-hmm.
Smoke me a little bit of weed, whatever. Chick over there, I just keep watching. I can't keep my eyes on her. To me, she's sexy at that point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my point of going from boy to man.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm interested in what she got going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I know she's older, so I'm like, nah, that never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Dude was like, "Hey, you like that, don't you?" So I'm like, "Man, go ahead."
Mm-hmm.
So he whispered something to her. She's like, "Come here." So they started drinking. They get me drunk. She takes me in the room and showed me things I should not have been learning at that age.
Mm.
But that happened the whole summer.
Mm.
I liked it. You know what I mean? And like you said, it made you hypersexual. Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
It's what we call in the hood turned out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She turned me out. You know what I mean?
Exactly what, boy.
You dig?
Yeah.
So now at this age, I look back and I'm like, damn, I was molested. That wasn't no fun shit. That was I was mentally fucked over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really and truly.
Yeah, and people don't understand too when you go through when you experience these situations when you taken advantage of sexually. My mama always told me to be careful when you have sex with somebody because your demon having sex with their demons too.
Yeah. Time of souls.
Yeah, time and soul. So, and I never understood that until like I actually experienced it for real. It was a time where I was with you at one point, and I remember before I got to a point when I was starting to be under your roof. I remember when me and my baby mama had broken up, and she was doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I had to show her, I don't need you. So I'm hopping from women to women, and you know it because some of them came to your crib. So you know what I'm saying,
I recall.
like, yeah, so I was around. I'm in here pulling the most baddest, attractive women who look better than you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to feel good within when I really don't, right? And it got to a point where all that having sex with multiple women, the drinking, the smoking, the popping the pills, to feel numb towards the situation that I'm going through, it got me lost to a point where I had to stop doing it.
I remember.
And when I stopped doing it, every day I fucking cried. Every day I'd be at the bus station crying. I'm in the bed, I'm locked in the room. Bro, get out the room. I don't want to get out because I'm crying. I'm upset. I'm angry because now that bandage, that Band-Aid that I had to cover up this scar, I don't have it no more. It's not helping me no more.
That wound's freshly open.
Now it's freshly open. Now I got to actually feel what I'm trying to avoid. And don't get it twisted. That shit was very painful to go through. But I appreciated it because while going through that, when it finally got to the healing stage, and when I resurrected from that situation, it really showed me my worth. Like, I don't have to have sex with you. You know what I'm saying? I could be able to say no and not feel bad because of how you feel because I don't want to mess with you in that way. You know what I'm saying? And if I ever get to a point where I feel upset or life is life and it's putting me in a situation where I'm messed up mentally, I don't have to abuse things to feel good. I could go ahead and find another coping way to handle it. You know what I'm saying? I found out me going to the water at the beach at night, meditating, that was my calling to do whenever it gave me a connection to the higher power. You know what I'm saying? To calm the voices down and the spirit down and whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like, when you go through these, when people, men and women, I'm not gonna just say men, Yeah, but the things that when we go through this shit, you know what I'm saying, when it comes down to for a sexual standpoint, like we really have to be careful. When a person say no, just accept it. Just accept it. And it has nothing to deal with, you know what I'm saying, XYZ, the shit. That's your own insecurities. Because apparently, you know what I'm saying, if he ain't had an issue with doing it before, why would we have an issue doing it now? You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just something that's going on where he's just not into the mood of it. So don't try to take advantage of the man, or don't try to take advantage of the woman, because they say, you know, and not only try to take advantage of it, but create these stories in your head that they doing something. Or yeah, that's the thing that blows me. Like, that shit that be crazy.
I had my finger out so I could remember the point that you said, where he was like, women, they be having, they be, I guess, comforting or something like that. They have that comforting understanding. That is not always the truth. I've seen more groups, and I'm saying this as a woman that likes to look from the outside, and I've seen multiple groups of women that don't have that compassion, that don't have that like considered, like the consideredness to, that's not even a word, but I just threw that one out there.
Consideration.
There we go. The consideration. Like, I was going for that one. They don't have the consideration for people for real. So where the most consideration they have is just maybe their intermediate group. Yeah. But when it comes down to like really having consideration for other people outside in different spectrums, they don't have that. And it's a lot of hyenas out here. They don't have that consideration for people as much as it's painted that we women have that. That is not always the case. Majority of the time, especially when you go in these girl groups and you watch certain stuff, like it has to be certain I can't remember, certain platforms or certain areas where you'll see that. But even then, in some of these women only groups, like you will still see how they will attack.
You know, being that I've been around a lot of females, you know what I mean, and not even involved with them, but just being around them and hearing their level of compassion for certain situations, it's crazy. You know what I mean? And we think that we be on some hardcore stuff.
Real quick. The Truth Don't Lie TV said, good show, y'all. I got a def plan to watch the entire thing tomorrow, Lord willing. Tell Shorty she missed out on the love of her life.
You missed out, baby.
He'll be back next week, though.
He'll be back.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it, bro. But you know, the level of compassion that we deem females to have, they really don't have. Being real, a lot of the females are more heartless than some of the individuals that we sit amongst the same they thugs. You know what I mean?
Stress it.
A lot of them sit here and talk about, I'm a thug, I'm gonna do this, I'm that. Well, there's some women out here that's ruthless as hell. You know what I mean? Mentally. They don't do it in the physical form, but they do it mentally. You know what I mean? And the mentality that they keep this little persona going that, they so dainty and all this type of stuff. Bruh, I know females that I could talk to and you be like, man, what the fuck? Who the fuck raised her?
Well, it's we get to hide behind a lot of these stereotypes.
Yeah.
The stereotypes is women are more empathetic and women do this and women do this. So then until you ask them to do it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I'm an empath and I'm this and I'm that until you ask them to do it. And then now I'm not your mama.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm about to say, they get into a standpoint when they see how nourishing you are towards kids, they think that, you know what I'm saying, you could be that way towards me because I'm supposed to be your equal. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like that at all.
I got my finger pointing because it reminded me of the story of the ex-wife's sister, to where when she was like,
she turned on emotions
like that, just went. And I'm like, yeah, that's how, yeah.
Yeah, y'all can be some ruthless motherfuckers, to be honest.
I'm going to be honest with you.
All y'all have a certain level of it.
I'm going to be honest, even if I'm talking about myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she got to sit up for this one. Okay.
Y'all heard the opposite word,
Let me sip my tea. Okay.
Y'all heard the opposite word, right? If I'm talking about myself.
Nah. I'm going to be honest. I personally don't like being cruel because I know how it is to have women be cruel to you.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and try to do no woe is me story or nothing like that. But growing up, I wasn't invited into these girl groups because I wasn't this standard girl. So I never was able to really be inside of these girl groups because what I like to do, I like to go pick up bugs and frogs and stuff like that. And
Right.
that just was not what they was getting into.
Right.
So when you see, that was my thing.
I get
Nature and lizards and stuff was my thing.
get
And
it.
growing
Just a
up,
country girl. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
and growing up, I realized at a young age, I learned this in second grade, that like girls are cruel. I grew up with a bunch of girl cousins as well.
Right.
You would think everybody, no, it was fighting every day. Every day they always had something to say. They would always try to be as mean as they could, whatever they could. No.
And y'all hit hard. Y'all hit where it hurt.
Man,
Y'all hit below
boy.
the belt every time.
Listen, and that's why I'm not trying to
That's that
sound,
abuse.
you feel me, like I'm trying to take sides, but it's just the truth. When I hear any type of situation goes on where a man put his hands on a woman, I don't immediately size, like, you know what I'm saying, with the female. I need to know what happened.
What did you say? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's usually what it is.
What did you say? What did you do? Because sometimes women, boy, listen, I had this thing. It's on my old project, the What's Love Was Trust song featuring God Amaj. And that really, it hits deep for everything. Because when you give your all to someone and you tell them everything about you, and the minute that life hits or they can't get what they want from you,
And they use it against you.
man, they use that shit against you, and you look at like, nigga, is you serious? It brings a different effect, man. And I seen certain situations, like it was the situation that happened, I believe, in Oklahoma, where a guy, the baby mama, baby daddy drama, back and forth. It was extremely toxic. One minute she goes to jail, next minute he goes to jail. They just kept freaking and hitting on each other all the time. And then one day, you feel me, you took it too far. You know what I'm saying? He got to a point where he got tired of it and didn't want to deal with her no more and stopped dealing with her. And he actually had plans to leave out the city. He was in a hotel. She found out about it. And so she kept trying to find ways to piss him off. And he would not respond to it to a point where he blocked her. This girl ended up finding out where he was at, went to the hotel, and took a gun out, claiming that she only took it out to scare him, but ended up shooting him. And now the man dead. He's deceased. You know what I'm saying? All because of your toxic traits. You know what I'm saying? Your crazy ass mind, the shit that you're thinking that it's okay to entertain for whatever reason. And I saw that shit, brother. It really bothered me because it was just like, damn. It goes back to what you were saying. When you prolong a situation for so long, yes, we have to fall on our face to understand what's going on. But man, it comes with a real debt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With that,
Yeah,
when you
it
prolong it.
Think about Chris Brown and Rihanna situation.
What?
You know what I mean?
What?
Who knows what was said or done before he actually put his hands on her? You know what I mean? Was he wrong? Yeah, you shouldn't put your hands on a girl like that. But I understand it somewhat. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I agree with it. I understand it though.
Yeah.
Who knows? She might have told him Usher dance better than you did. You know what I mean?
Real, yeah.
But-
Real shit.
And he might have took offense to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But either way, you know what I mean? I can't remember what comedian said it. He was like, sometimes women need to know how to shut the fuck up.
Say it one more time.
Certain situations.
Sometimes a woman,
needs to know when to shut the fuck up.
seriously. I wish we could do the little clapping
That's
thing where they just start clapping. I'm just being honest, bro. Yeah, there you go.
I remember saying this to my brother. So I'm like, some women genuinely never had somebody pop them in the mouth and be like, yo, you gotta chill.
Yeah,
You gotta
shut the
stop. Like,
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying that it's right for a man to just go haul off and hit a woman in the mouth because she said something.
I mean, like growing up children.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. As But some women need to know when to shut the fuck up because you can go on and on with this type of shit, and men, we're not emotionally driven off of whatever it may be, but when you start hitting us with facts about us that we've told you in secret,
Come on, man.
that's like a violation of our trust with you.
Come on, man.
So
And that shit hurts worse.
So now you've committed treason against our relationship,
Right.
or our bond,
Right.
and we feel violated.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
That's
Yeah. Five. Got you.
that's where a lot of that physical comes out. Now we're enraged.
And they don't understand too when you do that. You know, you change a person, bro.
Yeah.
You change a person where now you don't fuck it up for the next person that he's gonna deal with because he's scarred. He or she's scarred from what you done to them. You know what I'm saying? It changes them.
I think they do be realizing it. It's just the fact
They
that
don't
they
care.
don't care at
They
that
don't give a
moment.
fuck.
They
Yeah.
do not care because if the same thing happened to her, it would be World War III. Like
Yeah. You did what?
that's like even in certain, I know in female conversations, right, to where they be like, why is it that you have a harsh friend breakup, but you let that do, and it's like, because I like how y'all say y'all entrust women. That's how a woman was entrusting with her friend, and you broke that trust. So they know what it is. They just don't care because, I mean, that's supposed to be your dude. That's your dude. He better get over it. If it's about us, right? I said some things, but you know I ain't mean.
Man, that blows me so bad.
You know I love you, Byron.
Man, that's like you just broke my leg and be like, I didn't mean to hit you, but you know, you did something that bothered me, so that's why I did it. But I love you though.
Be like, so you ain't gonna put a cask on it?
Come
you
on,
gonna act like
man.
that?
It's kind of like one of those standpoints, you know, when people say, with all due respect, but still disrespect you.
Yeah. That's the craziest shit ever.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but you fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But nah, we're gonna go ahead and end it out, man. I want to definitely, as always, my boy, my brother, my big brother, give a special shout out. Malik the barber, man, you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm playing.
Y'all niggas want that haircut, y'all need to go get y'all haircut. Y'all women want that cut, get that cut, man, you know what I'm saying?
You know, I want to give a shout out to my mom. Her birthday is April 23rd. Mama, I hope you see this. I love you, mama.
For sure. Give a shout out to Cliqu'd, my man Job, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to our guest, Shadira. She had, you feel me, my man, you know what I'm saying, coming out of that thing, man. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy.
Finally got to get on the show with her.
Right, you know what I'm saying? But nah, I appreciate you for coming to the show, giving your thoughts.
Thank you much.
You know
Thank
what
you
I'm
for
saying?
inviting me. Thank you.
All love. Yo, listen, I hope y'all enjoy.
Talking about more guys.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah. He showed love. He definitely did.
But yeah, though, once again, man, I want to let everybody know. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I hope y'all took in what we talked about. And hey, we got to keep this going, man. We got to change some shit, you know what I'm saying, about us, man, because it's really affecting not just us, but it's affecting our surroundings and it's affecting our future. So we got to change it. Until then, I see you next week, Monday. Stress it.
Stress it.
Aggressive.